Patriots. It's time to cut through the, well, you know.
What's up, everyone? I'm Axel of Axetruth.com, and this is where I cut through some tragic bullshit right here. Took me a minute to get myself together to even do this story. All video, sound, and music used during this broadcast falls under fair use. Fair use is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe on copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. This is a heartbreaking story because as I prepared for this story, I was disgusted. I was disgusted because when I looked at the young lady who lost her life behind something so tragic, so tragic, over something so she lost her life so tragically over something so senseless. I'm looking at a community, a so-called community that they love to call community, with senseless violence happening all over the country, in their community, by their people. And if you say something about it, it's a problem. And I'm gonna go more into this tomorrow night with an angle of this abortion thing, which I see that communities looking at it and what they're worried about or what they're talking about. And I'm going to cut that up tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. for Tacky Thursdays. I'm Axel at Axetruth.com. Now, here we have a young lady. I'm going to put her picture up here. I had to pull myself together because I looked at her picture and emotion just came over me before I started this. So I'm going to try to do this and not get emotional. Here, her name is Brittany Macon. Young lady working at a Subway in Southwest Atlanta. She was killed over too much mayonnaise on a sub sandwich. Shot. Another girl was injured. I look at this young lady with that smile on her face. I think of her parents, her family, having to live with this tragedy. And we have a news media that would blow up a national story if a white man shot or killed a black man or a cop. And everybody's outraged. Everybody's outraged. But here we are with another story of a life gone by some thug who doesn't care about his life, let alone anyone else's. Here's the story.
They were two relatively new employees, only been at my store 3, maybe 4 weeks. Well-rounded young ladies, really hard workers. Everybody loved them. They came to work every day and just did their job.
This is our top story tonight, new at 5. We've just confirmed the name of the Subway restaurant worker who was shot and killed in Atlanta. The medical examiner identifying her as 26-year-old Brittany Macon.
This is one of those stories that's just so senseless and so sad. The restaurant owner told 11 Alive that a customer killed her and shot another worker, apparently upset over how they'd made his sandwich. Brittany Klein-Peter's been out in that neighborhood all day, where residents tell her enough is enough when it comes to people being killed over such trivial issues in our city.
This just ain't about this shooting. This is about losing our rights as a society. It's bigger than that. Don't we see it? Don't we see it?
Yeah, I don't know what the world is coming to. Everybody wants to carry a gun. Everybody wants to, scare somebody with a gun. It's just It's scary out here.
The owners of a Subway restaurant in Southwest Atlanta say they don't know if they'll keep their doors open after a customer allegedly shot 2 of their employees Sunday evening, upset because his sandwich had too much mayo on it.
Because of what happened tonight, me and my partners, we're actually reevaluating whether or not we're going to continue to do this in this neighborhood anyway.
The owner says the worker killed Brittany Macon, who had just started working there a few weeks ago. A 24-year-old co-worker was also shot but survived and is in critical condition. Police say that worker's 5-year-old son was in the restaurant and witnessed the shooting.
Someone who failed to resolve a conflict by just walking away, having a conversation to just reorder a sandwich, decided to take actions into his hands, and now we have families who are devastated.
Atlanta police say they arrested a 36-year-old man within hours of the shooting not far from the scene thanks to a tip from someone in the community. They hadn't identified him yet, but the business owner says the gunman had come to the sandwich shop before without any issues. Community activists showed up outside the business this afternoon, grieving for the victims and begging for senseless gun violence like this to end.
But when we killing each other like this, you know, that problem can easily be fixed, but it's going to take all of us.
In Atlanta,
The only problem I had with the way they delivered that story, when he says everybody wants to carry a gun, the people who are carrying the guns that are committing the crimes are carrying illegal guns. They're criminals. This has nothing to do with a law-abiding citizen carrying a gun. These are man-childs, a criminal. This is a thug who's out on felonies that shouldn't even have had a gun. So he had an illegal gun. And he decided to resolve his problem with a sandwich, mayonnaise, and killed a young lady and injured another young lady and could have shot the child that was in the restaurant over mayonnaise. This guy is going to prison for mayonnaise, but he doesn't care. He has a really extensive criminal he has a really extensive criminal background. A career criminal, shouldn't have been out on the street, but he was. Now here's the victim, Brittany. It's a little bit more about Brittany, about this young lady, Brittany Macon. My heart goes out to her family.
We're learning new information about the person who was allegedly shot and killed over mayonnaise. You heard that right. The person killed was an employee at a Subway restaurant just identified as 26-year-old Brittany Macon.
11 Alive's Paula Searle has spent the night getting to know a lot more about the victim. Paula?
Yeah, Ron, you know, I spoke to her family on the phone tonight. Many of them too distraught, too shocked to speak to me on camera, but they didn't want to miss out on the opportunity of telling me how important, how sweet, and how hardworking Brittany was. This is Brittany Macon. Her family members tell 11 Alive she had just started her job at this Subway on Northside Drive about 3 weeks ago. Just before that, she worked at UPS. On Sunday night, police say a 36-year-old shooter walked into the Subway, killing Brittany and injuring another employee. Family members identified that employee as 24-year-old Jada Nicole, who police say is in critical condition. The restaurant owner, Willie Glenn, says it all unfolded because a customer thought there was too much mayonnaise on his sandwich.
Well-rounded young ladies, really hard workers. Everybody loved them.
Glenn adds that Jada had her 5-year-old son with her inside the store when it happened. Family says Brittany and Jada lived together and that Brittany loved Jada's son, who witnessed the shooting, as her own.
Someone who failed to resolve a conflict by just walking away, having a conversation to just reorder a sandwich, decided to take actions into his hands, and now we have families who are devastated.
Brittany's family adds that she was smart and sweet, so much so she planned and paid for a big family reunion a month ago for everyone to be together. That was the last time many family members were able to see her. She was a daughter, a sibling to 4, a cousin to many, and a hard worker.
I don't know what the world is coming to. Everybody wants to carry a gun. Everybody wants to, scare somebody with a gun. It's just, It's scary out here.
Now, Brittany's family tells me they were all supposed to be together, reunited for the 4th of July in Savannah. Instead, family members from Arizona and Savannah are flying in after this tragic and horrific incident. Ron?
Okay, Paula, thanks a lot for the update.
We're learning new information about the person.
And here is the guy who they caught. His name is Melvin Williams. Right here, you see this? Look at all the mug shots right here. Just a little brief background before I go into the rest of this. This is Melvin Williams. He was charged with killing Brittany Macon, injuring Jada Stanton at 24. She's 26. She's 24. Over too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. Records show that he was out on bond for child cruelty and aggravated assault, and should not have had a gun. And these are 8 mugshots that he had right here. So he should not have had a gun, but he had one. So all the gun laws you can put on the books don't have anything to do with this situation right here.
New details in the deadly shooting at an Atlanta Subway restaurant. We have just obtained warrants naming the suspect in the shooting that allegedly happened after an argument over too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. Now, according to the warrants, police arrested 36-year-old Melvin Williams of Atlanta shortly after the shooting. He appeared before a Fulton County judge Monday and was denied bond. Williams is accused of fatally shooting 26-year-old Brittany Macon and seriously wounding 24-year-old Jada Stanton. Statum's 5-year-old son was also inside the restaurant at the time of the shooting, but was not injured. New details in the deadly shooting at an Atlanta.
It's very sad. Over mayonnaise. And now the business owner is not going to open back up. This is the urban section of town where all the black people live. Remember I played that video of the girl that said she want to segregate? She said she want to segregate. She don't want to live around white people. She want to live around her own people. And you know how we always hear this little story about support black businesses. And here's a black business owner in the black area. Now it's going to have to close his doors. He said, I'm going to have to open up somewhere else, but not in this neighborhood. But let's talk about white supremacy and racism and how racist this country is. I'm lost for words when it comes to this young lady. It's almost like that story I did about Joshua. Can't think of his last name. The young man who had graduated from high school, and 2 weeks after graduating high school, he had over $50,000 in scholarships to go off to college, and he did everything he could to separate himself from the crowd to better himself, and he was shot walking away from an argument from a thug. And I sat there and watched his dad cry when the news interviewed him. Her family couldn't even talk on camera, which I don't blame them, from the trauma of losing their daughter, who was hardworking, trying to better herself, didn't think working at a Subway she could lose her life behind mayonnaise. But let's talk about white supremacy and racism. Melvin Williams, who was out, he had arrest warrants were given about on the suspect who the shooting death of the Subway worker. According to the warrants, the suspect is 36-year-old Melvin Williams of Atlanta, in which Melvin Williams had his first appearance on Monday, and he was denied bond. He was out on bond, so of course they denied his bond now. The warrants do not offer much more detail on the shooting, stating that Williams is accused of knowingly and intentionally discharging a firearm that resulted in the death of a worker, Brittany Macon. The second victim, identified as 24-year-old Jada Nicole Stanton, was taken into the hospital in critical condition. As of Monday, she's still in critical condition. She's probably going to be permanently injured for the rest of her life, working a low-wage job at a Subway. Macon's family said that she started her new job at the Subway restaurant on Northside Drive about 3 weeks ago. The restaurant owner, Willie Green, added that Stanton's 5-year-old son was inside the store when it happened. Now, this Melvin guy, let me get the dirt on him. Since Brittany Macon's family has been asking for justice for her murderer. Wednesday afternoon, the suspect tied to her shooting death was identified as 36-year-old Melvin Williams. Macon's cousin, who wanted to remain anonymous, spoke to 11 Alive when she found out about the suspect. She's finding some gratitude knowing that gratitude that he is captured. So 11 Alive obtained his jail records. It shows that Melvin Williams was arrested multiple times before. Back in 2013, he was arrested on charges of burglary, aggravated assault. Just 3 months ago, he was arrested for charges of aggravated assault and cruelty to children. 3 months ago. He was out on bond, and he allegedly went to the Subway on Northside Drive in Atlanta where Brittany and 24-year-old Jada Stanton was working Sunday night. Jada was shot and taken to the hospital, and she's in critical condition. Her family says she's in a lot of pain. They said, "I really thank a higher power for the man above for just seeing a favor for our family so we can get justice." Brittany's cousin hopes Jada and the 5-year-old son who witnessed the shooting are able to get counseling once she's out of the hospital. This is tragic. Williams, who is charged with murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and possession of a firearm tied to this case, he's said to be held at the Fulton County Jail with no bond. You know, this guy shouldn't have never been out on the street. And if he wasn't out in the street, with a rap sheet like he has, he's out on the street on bond for aggravated assault and cruelty to children. He's out, and he killed someone over a mayonnaise. We live in terrible times, y'all. We live in such terrible times where evil is everywhere. Say a prayer for Brittany Macon's family and Jada's family. Jada Nicole's family. I hope she pulls through and hope she has to be able to heal from her injuries and have some sort of a life because she has a child to raise. Luckily, that child was not injured. Put your comments below, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you tomorrow night, Thursday night, for Tacky Thursdays. You guys have a great day and be blessed.
Media-driven fear that really is detrimental to one's health. I don't think we were supposed to watch television and take on all the problems of the world. I don't think the body's equipped for that. There should be just a day the TV just goes off. Maybe a week the TV just goes off. What's so bad about that?
Thoughtful, philosophical, his logic not always easy to follow, but in his words somewhere, there is always a lesson.
In time, we're going to find out that all of the media is a misconception.